I am really so excited about this episode because I am trying to imitate, even though in acting, the sort of acting that I believe in, imitation is only great when you are imitating somebody of exceptional talent, of exceptional success. In my case, what I'm going to do right now, I am going to go the opposite direction and I'm just going to take a lesson from the one and only Meghan Markle and overdress for the occasion. I'm getting rashes. I'm really hot because it's really warm inside my apartment. But I've decided to wear this very beautiful, made by me, altered by me. Used to be a scarf, transformed it into something more than a scarf. I don't know if you're able to see it. It goes like this, and then it has a tail in the back, which is really chic. But it was just originally a scarf. And then you just take it downstairs to one of your alteration people and you tell them how to sew it together. And then you convey it to something extraordinary like this that you can wear in the wintertime. Also, I'm trying to make a point by wearing a hat, which I started to wear last episode with my guest, the amazing Alejandro Santoni. That hat was an autumn fall hat, but this hat, as you can see, is a straw hat. So it's more for summer. But I've decided to go completely against the norm and to wear a winter fall scarf and a summer hat. What do you think? By the way, the same scarf that I actually altered myself and made on my own from a very cheap scarf that I bought. If you go on Veronica Beard clothing line, which is an exceptional brand for clothing, you could get something like this that would cost you between 300 and 500. A lot. And I've seen a lot of other things that they're creating so beautifully, but they're costing a lot of money. So I'm actually doing my own alteration. When I say I'm doing my own alteration, I don't mean that I'm sewing because I don't know how to sew. I have the idea. I take them downstairs to just a normal tailoring, a dry cleaning, who has an alteration lady or man. And every time they see me, it's so funny. They go, "Oh no, not again. Designer is coming back. What now?" Because I have so many ideas and I bring clothes and I change them and I cut them and I tell them how to sew them back and all of that. But what am I so excited about? I'm excited about the clothing. I'm excited that I'm actually doing something which is against the norm. If Meghan Markle can do it, where she takes New York by storm with her Prince Harry, and they come on as if they were the king and the queen. Why can I do it? She's dressed in a temperature they used to be at that time during the week when they were here about 80, which is 25, I believe, Celsius, which is really hot. And she was wearing overcoats and she was wearing big black things on and then red overcoat. I decided to do the same thing and I decided to go against the norm. If she can do it, so can I. Okay, this is me. Do you know what I was just doing up till now? Oh, God, this is ridiculous. I was acting all over the place. And maybe that's what I should be doing. Maybe I should be doing that. Maybe I should be acting all over the place. Maybe I should overact. But overacting is not bad when it's sustained by something that's true. I don't feel like overacting today because I am so saddened by the sad event that the whole country and the whole globe is following on social media. You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Gabby Petito, and her monstrous fiance, Brian Laundrie. Can you guys believe what's happening? Is this incredible to watch what's happening? It's just crazy. It is just crazy. The reason why I'm so upset and the reason why I think that I have the right to speak about it is because I'm coming to it from the perspective of the acting profession. As an acting coach, as someone who has to understand psychology, not calling myself a psychologist because I am not, I don't have a certificate, but going back to the definition of Elia Kazan, the one and only director, one of the founders of the Actor Studio, who changed acting universally forever. After him, after Marlon Brando, the art of acting became known as the art of experiencing because he understood that actors, directors, acting coaches have to understand psychology and then transform that psychology into behavior in order to be able to portray human beings which are real. So why would a director in the 1950s know that in order to portray characters, to portray them in fictional stories, they have to learn psychology because they have to analyze characters. They have to observe people because they have to then create those characters three-dimensional on stage, on set. But where the stakes are even higher in real life, the police is not required to understand signs that somebody is actually has been verbally, emotionally abused, physically abused. Even when they get the facts, even when some strangers make a phone call and they specifically give the facts saying, we have just witnessed two people, a young couple, by a van. The girl is trying to get into the van. The boy is not letting her go into the van. He is slapping her. Physical, that's slapping. Fact, slap, physical, emotional, physical abuse. Those were facts. That's what a phone call of strangers who noticed something and had the good sense to call the police. What does the police do? They stop the white van belonging to Gabby. Brian is driving. And then we have the YouTube video, which now I am sure everybody in this planet has seen it. Heartbreaking to watch, sad to watch, because the very first minute when the car stops, the door is being opened on the side of the passenger seat where Gabby was sitting. She's let outside. You can tell that she has been in a situation which is not a healthy situation, toxic situation. You don't even have to have had a phone call from somebody telling you that they witnessed what happened where she had been slapped by this guy. The guy who is now, if you're putting one and one together, the person next to her driving. That's the guy, the boyfriend. There's no other guy. There's not a third guy. So they were talking about this guy, the driver, we come to know as Brian, was being seen slapping this beautiful, young, luminous, exciting, gorgeous girl who is now dead. And I don't think there was a chance that if they would have gotten it right, if the police would have gotten it right, maybe she would still be alive. I don't know. But how is it possible, going back, how is it possible that the training required for different professionals who do not have to have the training because their life doesn't depend on that training, or other people's lives doesn't depend on that training, but they still do it? I'm talking about actors again. And then you go to the policemen, police women, and they're not being trained in recognizing a victim in a situation where one of the sign that she's a victim is she saying that she's not a victim because she's afraid of what's going to happen once the police people are gone and she is left alone with the abuser. Of course she's going to take the blame. Of course she's going to say, no, it's my fault, I am mean to him, but I apologize, I'm a little bit upset, emotional, whatever she's saying. But the police man and the woman, there was a woman too, believe the manipulator who knows exactly how to trick them, how to conduct the whole interview, the whole conversation. It was conducted in such a sneaky, fishy way. Comes out of the van. Hello, my dear friends. I am a friend of yours. I mean, my God, if I was watching this, if this were something that I was watching as an acting coach only, I would say to those policemen, if I were to be somewhere watching where this whole situation took place, I would be whispering to them and I would say, listen, he's playing you. He's playing you. He's got a smile on the face, which he shouldn't have, because the situation that the Gabby girl, the situation Gabby's in, does not give him the justification that he has a smile on his face. Something's going on. He's covering something. That's what a character does. He covers something. You have to ask what's going on here. We just got some statements from some people who saw you. This is your driver's license plate, and they were telling me that you were slapping her. Were you slapping her directly? I don't see you to have had a situation as the one that was given to us over the phone. What's going on? Are you trying to hide what happened? Were you slapping this young girl? Were you? But no, the policeman took his acting, which was so badly, but because they don't recognize truth from fakeness, because they don't recognize anything to do with human behavior, which would also require of them to recognize psychology, they believe him. And they keep the poor girl who cannot stop crying for more than an hour in the back of the police car. So they put her in the back of the police car. Why would they put her in the back of the police car? To say from the very beginning, let's put you there because you are crying, you seem to be more at fault, but let's have fun so you can see from where you are. We're going to go and have fun with your boyfriend who's playing us without us knowing, like this on his little pinky. Let's go have fun with him and joke with him and maybe ask if he has any scars, because the way that you're crying, Gabby, the way that you're so emotional, I think that you are the abuser. Why do we think that? We think that because we're not smart enough to know any better. We're not smart enough to know that we live in 2021 when we should not judge emotions in men or in women. Emotions show vulnerability and courage at the same time. The fact that we are revealing emotions, the fact that we are not afraid to reveal how we feel in the moment because of something that happened to us, that's normal. The society conditioning that emotions are best to be covered, like Brian was doing, by placing them underneath. He wasn't showing the anger, the rage that those witnesses that experienced what happened to them before saw. No, he wasn't. He came out and he covered his emotions and he gave the policeman what he knew they were expecting, which was a bad acting of everything is fine. How are you doing? Too hot, isn't it? Do you mind if I sit over here? He's conducting his interrogation. He's taking control. He's taking control, even taking over the control from the policeman. If he can take the control over and he conducts the interrogation by directing it the way that he wants to direct it, can you imagine what he was able to do with this young, beautiful girl that is no longer alive for the duration of their relationship? I'm so saddened by the whole thing because I don't understand what's happening in society. I don't understand why society doesn't work as it should. Why aren't there people who learn and train to be able to do their professions and their jobs better? Why aren't there requirements for people to make them better at what they do? Why are there policemen and policewomen allowed to be conducting interrogations with lives of people without having had the training to understand the signs of what abusers will do to their victims and how the victims will conduct themselves because of fear? Why isn't that training required? But yet, actors do it. Actors who only, and I don't say this in a way that's not important. It is very important for actors what they do and what they portray. But in comparison to what we're talking about, which is the life of this beautiful young girl, Gabby, is not. The actors themselves train their entire lives, not because they're made to, because they want to, in psychology, in analysis, in behavior of humans, in order to be able to, on television, on the stage, be able to play roles and portray those roles and give justice to those characters, give their due justice as real human beings. So then why wouldn't the same training, at least train the policeman, have the policeman be trained as much as actors, no more? Because I guarantee you that if I were there, if anybody were there who is a great actor, a great acting coach, they would have been able to go to the policeman and pat them on the back and say, can I talk to you for a second? You know, the fact that you want to take this guy to the hotel because you think that he's the one that's the victim and she's the abuser, it's not right. It's not right. It's the other way around. It's the opposite. I guarantee you. Let me show you some examples from some of the great movies or some of the great plays where the situation is very similar and the outcome was that he is actually the abuser and she is the victim. So you must save her. Take her somewhere. Call her parents. Take her away from the situation where she can tell you the truth. But take her from the location of where she sees that you are being kind to her abuser. And then you expect her to tell you the truth? Is that what's going on? Like, seriously, that's what you expect? I mean, really? I don't know what's going on. I think there's going to be an investigation, from what they're saying, into those police people that were there. I have nothing against them personally. I just think that for the sake of other people, I mean, it's too late for Gabby now to do something, but for the sake of other people in situations that are going to be similar, they need to have officers who know how to assess, how to analyze. We analyze a script. We do analysis of our characters to the very specific detail to why they're behaving in the way that they're behaving as actors. And then in real life, where there's actually, the stakes are so high, the stakes are life or death, but they don't. They look at the situation and they completely go against 100% of what the real happening is, because they just don't know. They just are being fooled by the manipulator themselves. The same manipulator who then was able to very clearly manipulate the poor girl who is now deceased, and her poor parents had no idea where she was. And I mean, this is so sad. I'm so sad about the whole thing, and I just wish that there was so much more fairness in the world. I think there's so much hypocrisy, and there's so much that's wrong. So confusing to me of everything that's happening in the world. Going to then what's happening with, the vaccines, and people still dying because they don't want to be vaccinated, because they listen to people who are just lying to them in order to keep their positions in political situations they're in, or people on television lying because they want to get more subscribers, and they know that the more they say that the vaccines are not helping, or that the government is lying to them, they're going to get more ratings, or they're going to get more subscribers on social media. Why are we so mean? Why is it that we're so horrible as people? Why are we so horrible as people? I ask. I don't understand. Why is it that we cannot make the difference between, I am looking at science right now, I'm going to read everything that a scientist or more scientists have to say about the vaccines. Forget my political party. Forget everything else that has to do with anything else that I believe or I don't believe. When it comes to vaccines, I'm just going to do the best that I can to go and find the right resource for where I can get my information about vaccines. When it comes to football, if I'm interested in watching soccer, football, in limba romana, Romanian football, European football, I'm not going to call a policeman to give me the instructions or to give me the regulations of how the game is played. I'm going to go and look at the professionals who are the players, the football players, the soccer players, whatever you want to call them. I don't understand why there's mixed wiring going on in the world right now, where people are listening to people who are not scientists when it has to do with vaccines, and then they're listening to politicians when they want to find out about football, and they're listening to football players when they want to learn about politicians or about human behavior, human condition. Why does everything have to be so confusing? Because we are completely putting on pedestals that which does not have any kind of character, that and those that have no essence, those who have no need or want or desire to do something that's more than just doing it for themselves and keeping power or grabbing power. And the majority of the people are being manipulated the same way that those policemen were manipulated by people like that monster, Brian. I'm calling him a monster because I don't even care for them to get him to trial and to find out that he was the one that killed her. Her behavior before she died, her behavior from what I saw on that YouTube video was enough to let me know that his treatment of her was that of a monster. So the same as those police officers were believing him and were raising him up and were putting him as the man who might have the scratches because he might be the victim, but let's take care of him. Let's put him into the car while we leave Gabby with the keys to her van, whom she didn't even drive. She was afraid to drive. Let's isolate her even more than what she was isolated already by him for so many years. Let's take him and give him a hotel room and just show him that he's done no wrong so he can continue on his path and get to the point where he kills her, which is what happened. Let's applaud. Let's put him on a pedestal. Why not? The same thing with the politicians, the same thing with the lies and the government and the Republicans and the Democrats. There's good and bad on both sides. Don't listen to all on one side. Don't listen to all on the other side. Please be smart enough. Challenge yourselves to be more appreciative in the way that you observe people. Observation is so required for actors, and in acting, I'm always observing. I'm always looking at the details. I'm looking at a person who said something which could be completely positive, but then I look at what they're doing with their hands and I'm like, why is there tension in the hand when they're pretending to say something that is like so beautiful and they come out to be as these like amazing human beings, but I'm like, why is the hand, why is there tension in the hand? Don't just be general observer. Don't just live in a way that's general. Be specific and ask for details from the people that conduct your life in different ways. You are so, let's believe everything that's being given to us. Let's believe this one. Let's believe the other one without holding anybody responsible. Don't you ask yourselves more questions of those people that we're paying for to be in those positions that are supposed to do things to benefit all of us, our entire globe, our humanity? Don't you want more for yourselves? Because I do. No, let's mm, I'm so sad. So sad. You know, hire people who are actors, hire acting coaches to go to different departments, to go to different police stations and do sessions with your officers. That's something. And there will be so much more. They will be so much more trained when that's over with than what your officers were trained. They would at least know to ask questions, and they would at least know to be a little bit more observant rather than just believe somebody because they come out and they know how to play them and they know how to put a smile and hide what happened however many minutes before they were stopped. Oh no, everything is fine. Yeah. So upset about this beautiful young girl whose life was taken, and maybe there would have been a chance that, she still would have been alive. I don't know. Anyway, thank you so much for listening to me. And thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to. I am doing Meghan Markle. I am dressed and I am sweaty and I have this winter scarf that I wanted to present. But it's really beautiful, isn't it? And now that I've worn it for the last couple of minutes, it doesn't look so bad. So I can wear the hat, the summer hat, with a scarf, I guess.